So I'm sure you guys have heard about Marvel making the decision to turn Thor into a woman. Now, I don't care about swapping Cap with Falcon since Cap has stepped away from the shield before. I do, however, have a lot of problems with the changes made to Thor. Since it was announced, it's been confusing about what exactly is going on with Thor. It was either that Thor was going to become unworthy of Mjolnir and some random chick was going to replace him, or Thor was going to be turned into a woman, and both of them are fucking terrible ideas. According to comicbookresources.com, the new writer behind Thor explains that Thor will not be turned into a woman, but that Mjolnir no longer sees Thor as worthy of being its master. As stupid as this sounds, the writers defend this decision that they've been wanting to make this change ever since other characters such as Beta Ray Bill, Captain America, and once in a crossover, Superman and Wonder Woman picked up the hammer. What they fail to note is that the wielders of Mjolnir, other than Thor and Odin, cannot wield the hammer for long. Mjolnir would reject its new wielder over time and would reject them as soon as Thor would call it. An example of this is when the Absorbing Man absorbed the Uru and the power of Mjolnir from the hammer directly to fight Thor. Thor did not raise a finger against him, and after a few minutes he was able to take control of the Absorbing Man, and I quote, "You are foolish to take on the essence of Mjolnir, mortal. The hammer's power is not yours to control. It is mine." It seems that Marvel has forgotten what Thor is. Thor has been charged with the duty of protecting Midgard, and the tool to aid him in that protection is the great hammer Mjolnir. They have been together for over 2,000 years, and a bond like that doesn't end at the drop of a hat. Never has Mjolnir ever thought of Thor as being unworthy, and just because the movies make it part of its plot doesn't make it true. Mjolnir is not simply a magic hammer, it is a living soul, much like Odin's spear Gungnir. Even in that pathetic comic book series known as Ultimate Avengers where Thor is a goddamned hippie, literally damned by the gods as he has been disowned by Asgard, Mjolnir has not left his side. Speaking of which, since the beginning, Thor has gone against the wishes of his brothers and the orders of his father to continue defending Midgard, despite his fulfillment of slaying all Jotuns. And yet, he still swears to be there for Asgard as well as all the 9 realms. How could someone like that not be worthy? So, if the unworthiness, quote-unquote, is nothing more than a huge oversight, then what is the real reason for getting rid of Thor? The simple answer? Marvel has run out of ideas. During the past 10 to 20 years, both Marvel and DC have been trying to revive their comic book series with all the gimmicks in the book, killing off characters, creating new spin-offs, and trying to take advantage of political and social issues to sell their products. The most controversial was when the sexual orientations of several comic book characters were to be changed in order to take advantage of the huge cultural shift for the support of same-sex marriage. What this meant that both Marvel and DC cared so little about their characters that they would do anything to sell. Also, which goes without saying, is Marvel and DC's killing off characters gimmick. Instead of retiring the series, they announced they're going to kill off a character to get fans to buy the comics to see what happens. You know what happens when they do this? The internet becomes full of people making jokes such as, "Set your watches, kids. Let's see how long it takes for them to bring him back from the dead." No one takes it seriously, and it only undermines the characters and the industry. The final reason why Marvel made this terrible change is to take advantage of the female superhero debacle, primarily with the Black Widow's popularity spike and Wonder Woman getting no love. I want to go on record saying that I hate Black Widow, but not for the reasons that the moviegoers have come up with. I just think that she's a shit character with a weird ass story. Is she an Avenger or a Hydra agent? It's never clear. As for Wonder Woman, for anyone who is familiar with her comics, knows that she is a shit character with shit comics. I mean, try explaining Wonder Woman in comparison to other superheroes. Spider-Man, a human that gets bitten by a radioactive spider and gains powers. The Incredible Hulk, a scientist who gets overexposed to gamma radiation that becomes linked to his emotional state. If he becomes angry, he turns into an extremely powerful monster, a clear nod to the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. The X-Men, humans that take the next step in evolution and gain extraordinary powers. Wonder Woman, a Roman goddess that is also an Amazonian that dresses in an American flag costume that owns an invisible jet. The fuck? So what is the reason for writing out Thor and replacing him with a random woman? Well, I talked about it with my friends and they told me that it was to attract the female audience. The female audience? You got Chris Hemsworth, that's your female audience! I have to hear my girlfriend all the time saying that she would marry him along with every girl on the internet dropping their panties for him. him. Of course, my friend said that was pretty sexist. That was sexist? Replacing a male character with a female one to gain female fans is fucking sexist. And you know what? If Marvel thinks they're going to gain enough female fans to cover the loss of their regular Thor fans, then they are more fucking stupid than I thought. When I heard about this, I ripped the Marvel pin off my fedora. Yeah, I own a fedora, big shocker, I know. Now I know you have got to be wondering why am I going so nuts over this. I've been pissed in the past with Marvel fucking with my favorite characters, but this is the last straw. Thor is my favorite Marvel hero, and for them to run out of ideas and do this is insanity. Unlike the vast majority of comic book series, Thor is actually based on something. Thor is one of the chief gods of the Azatru faith, and Marvel's comic book series is based on this. However, they have never looked at the Pros Edda or the Poetic Edda, the holy text of Azatru, for ideas. There are so many characters and so much material to work with, and they ignore it completely. You want female characters for Thor? Why not Freya, goddess of love and queen of the Valkyries? You include the Valkyries in the comic, but not their queen? What about Sol, goddess of the sun, or Frigga, queen of gods? You haven't run out of ideas, you just have idiot writers. I tried getting into reading comics again, and I asked around which were the best Thor comics to read. I found a generally accepted top 5 list and took a look at them. The art was fucking beautiful and really amazing, which was a pleasant surprise since the past few comics I looked at from both Marvel and DC were utter shit. The stories, on the other hand, were garbage. Thor is an emo asshole and all the characters are the same every single time. This is due to the Christianization of Thor in the comics. Odin is the father, Thor is the son, and Loki is the devil. Even though they include Sif, Hel, and Balder fairly often, and nowadays they make fun of Christianity, they never include the other Azir and Vanir. Tyr, god of war and judgment. Njord, god of the sea. Freyr, god of fertility and lord of the elves. His sister Freya. Vali, god of vengeance. Mani, god of the moon. The list goes on. When they do finally introduce a new character, it's a daughter for Thor named Torun. Even though Thor has 2 sons, Magni, god of strength, Modi, his brother, and Thor's stepson, Ulur, god of winter and the hunt. Thor even has a daughter named Thord, but no! Even when it's all laid out for them, they just don't care. I could go on for hours about this, so I'm just gonna end it here. In short, Marvel is a lazy, greedy pile of shit. You fucked with Nightcrawler, you fucked with Wolverine, you fucked with the Avengers, you fucked with Marvel vs. Capcom, and now you fucked with Thor. I'm done, Marvel. X-Men Days of Future Past was amazing, and I will see Guardians of the Galaxy, but after that, I won't even look at you. This is the Dragon of the East Blue saying sail on, and fuck you. All hail the Thunderer. All hail Thor. The most controversial... fuck. Thor is one of the chief gods of the Azatru faith, spitting all over the pop filter. However, they have never looked at the Pros Edda or the Poetic Edda. This is gonna piss me off now. Which was a present... Fuck. Turning Japanese. Present. The present